Hi everybody, thank you for joining me. This is Deep Elements, and in today's very special episode, I'm going to show you how to use the NVidia GeForce Experience recorder and use it in such a manner that when you upload it to YouTube, that you can completely avoid having darkened videos or videos that aren't matching with the way that you can view them on your own computer. YouTube's processing of your video may actually alter it based on the video itself and or the way it was recorded, and that happens so often. I have not seen a solution anywhere. However, I developed a solution and I've confirmed that it does work, and I've now begun implementing it. I'm going to share it with you today. Now, first and foremost, we have our ShadowPlay here. I'm recording right now, obviously. I go to photo mode, game filter, I turn that off. That's not the fix, but I do turn that off. The other two things we're going to be doing is we're going to make a change in our color management profile on our computer. And the reason we're going to do that is because afterwards we're going to use FFmpeg, which is a program. You can look it up on Google, download it, implement it on your computer, and we're going to use that. There's a probe in there where you can probe your file, and it always creates the file in SMPTE170M. Now, you'll want to go ahead and record the video in SMPTE170M because YouTube is anticipating and converting to a color space called BT709, and these are derived from each other. They're completely compatible. So to ensure that the video itself, which is recorded in SMPTE170M, is correct, we're going to want to make sure that our system is also emulating that color space so that we know that our video has captured all of the color, the brightness and the darkness properly. So what we're going to do to make that happen is we're going to go down to our search bar and type in color management, and you're going to want to go to advanced and go to change system defaults, and you want to go to advanced again and change whatever's up here. You do not want to use sRGB for this. You want to use you want it to match, so you're going to do SMPTEC, and down here WCS profile for ICC viewing conditions. Make sure you don't select the sRGB. Over devices, you can do the same thing, replace whatever's there with this, click close. Now in the original first window that you had open, I think you need to click devices first, but you'll get a little pop-up that tells you that you're going to have to click this button to implement that system default. So you click profiles and do reset my settings to the system defaults, and whatever was here now in this first window will be replaced with the system default you just set, and here it's SMPTEC. So we're good with that. However, you may not have seen any change in your computer, and that's because, assuming that you have NVIDIA graphics, that's because in your control panel you might not be using the system default. So you'll want to go ahead and just modify that real quick. Go to your NVIDIA Control Panel. You can do that on your notification icon, right-clicking there, or you can simply right-click on your desktop and select NVIDIA Control Panel. Once you're in here, you can toggle back and forth. So you can go to change resolution, and it's probably going to be on use NVIDIA color settings with RGB. We don't want that, and that's the problem. Use default color settings, and we know that we've set the default color settings to match and sync with the way with the recordings that will be made. Go to adjust desktop color settings, and here click on override to reference mode, and change this from automatic, make it say full screen videos. And last but not least, go to adjust video color settings and make sure that also is with the video player settings and not with the NVIDIA settings, and then click apply. At that point, if you had to change this to use default color settings, you'll see the change happen on your computer and you know that it's effective. This makes sure it's universal for how YouTube processes the video and how it's viewed by everybody else through the viewing experience. Now that that's done, last but not least, we're going to have to convert that video. All right. The video itself is recorded in SMPTE170M, and the way we know that is because the conversion program we're going to use is called FFmpeg. And let me go ahead and go to Google and FFmpeg. You'll want to go to their site here and get that on your computer. Once you get that on your computer, it's something that runs, you run in a command prompt, and this right here is the golden command. This is the command. Okay? Now what you would end up doing to run this and make it happen, oh, I was still running from a previous example, is you want to hit Windows R to run and type in cmd, which is for your command prompt. So that comes up here. FFmpeg is stored in its own directory. For me, it's on the C drive, FFmpeg. cd/FFmpeg tells it to change directory to that folder. We're now in that folder. If you hit dir, it shows you what's in that folder. And I can see that I have new game 1 MP4 and I have new game 1 BT709, which I was using on an example earlier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that. And again, I'll do dir. Okay, it's gone. So this is our new game 1.mp4. The reason why I know that it's being recorded in SMPTE170M is because you can do FFprobe and then you can put in the file name. It's going to probe it and give me information about it. And I can see here that it's in TV, which is a partial color range. If you had RGB in full, that means that you were emulating a 0 to 255, 0 being your blackest of black and 255 being pure white. This here TV means that it's recording it in partial, which means it's from 16 to 235, or possibly 16 to 239, but it's likely 16 to 235. So we're going to want to make sure, like we already did, that we changed our color profile so it matches. So the game is emulating in the same way that our operating system is viewing it, and we're recording it in the same way, and everything's universal, no information gets lost. And when we do this processing step before uploading it to YouTube, the file itself is going to be ready. It's going to be perfect. So you'll want to take this entire command here, copy it, and then you implement it. And I'll explain what it is too. Here's the command. This is what it normally will do. It tells you information about the file. So again, like the FFprobe PTE170 TV, it's in 197 kilobytes per second. YouTube recommends 384 kilobytes per second. And it recommends BT709. So SMPTE and BT709, they're derived from each other. They're great together, so we can go ahead and convert that. And that's what we're doing here. We're converting it to BT709, and it's progressive. And it's also going to be 384 kilobytes per second. And then our output file, as you can see here, it's working on it. It's 0 kilobytes, 14. Okay, new game 1 underscore BT709. When it's done, we're going to have our converted file, and our converted file is going to have this specification. The converted file is now going to be in BT709, and it's also going to have all the codes or headers associated with it that tell YouTube that it's BT709. So let's go through this command real quick just so that you know what it is. You can just copy and paste it and use it, but I'll explain it real quick. On the -y and the -i, go in the beginning. You have your file name. -c:\v and lib264. That's like a codec on how it's done. It needs to be in x264. -b:(a) is 384 kilobytes. It's telling it to update the audio to be 384 kilobytes. This preset :v slow. Profile :v high, you keep that exactly as is. This one here, -crf20. This is like a compression you can do on the file. If you were to pick 10, and it can go anywhere between 1 to 50, 50 being the crappiest file you can imagine, 1 being like bigger than the original file. There's no need for that. Like creating a raw file out of a compressed file, there's no need for that. 10 will give you a file size that's approximately the same. It can be 9, 10, anything lower than that is really not needed. However, 20 is the recommended simply because it maintains the quality almost identically, but the file size in comparison to having an output file that's 8 gigabytes, this one might be less than 1 gigabyte. So it makes a big difference without sacrificing hardly any quality. The -vf, what that's doing is it's telling us to physically change the pixels, not just stamp the file and say that this stuff is BT709, but actually process these pixels and do it with color matrix equals SMPTE170M : to BT709. So each of those pixel formats are going to get changed physically to BT709. And like I said before, these interchange and are derived beautifully from each other, so you're not going to lose anything. So you'll have it in BT709, and it won't lose any information because your system was emulating in SMPTE. You recorded in SMPTE, and it got translated directly to BT709, which is very important for YouTube. It's the only format YouTube really wants to use by a typical standard, okay? Then at the end here, these are the actual little things. It says that the color primaries, it says that the color space, it says that this is going to be BT709, so it also stamps it, stamp of approval about it. And then of course your output file, which is the output file we're getting here. Now this is a very big file. It's 8 gigabytes big. It's at 4K at 60 frames per second at that, so it's double a 30 frames per second video. If this were 30 frames, it would only be you know, about 4.15 whatever gigabytes, but this is double. Once this is done, you'll have a usable file. You upload that to YouTube. Now that file is going to look beautiful once YouTube is done processing it and it becomes like complete quality in 4K. You will not see any difference between how it looked for you when you were playing the game, between the video when you view it in movies and TV, and when you view it on YouTube. They will all match. The only time that they won't match, and this is pretty much the last part of the video, is if you're watching it on certain smartphones. Some Apple devices will emulate video properly. However, do not use like an Android phone to determine whether or not it worked, because the actual Android phone color profile on it does not emulate colors properly in that sense. The color profile on it is not accurate. So do not use your phone to judge whether or not this worked. Any computer or any other viewing device is fine, but just don't look on like an Android phone and think it didn't work, because it's the Android phone itself. Besides that, you're good to go. This is the command. Make sure that you zoom in, that you write this down. It's very important. You're going to want to use the FFmpeg. Again, you're going to want to go ahead and go into your control panel and make sure that you change it to system defaults. You're going to go to your color management and you're going to update it to be SMPTE-C. And you're going to use this command to then go ahead and translate your data and make it completely compatible with YouTube's processing. And now, last but not least, I'm going to show you the comparative difference now. So let's look at this video I just uploaded, actually. And this is using this exact formula. This is actually this video. Okay, so this is what it looks like after I've uploaded it. It's a very, 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 very dark map. This is the Midwich Elementary School in Dead by Daylight. It's intended to be very dark. When you're playing it, it looks identical to what you're seeing now. So if it were to be any darker, you would notice the difference. You really wouldn't be able to see very well. And in the other videos that don't have this conversion and don't have these steps, the videos, there's countless articles out there about how to fix this. And this is the solution. And I will show you the difference now. I'm going to go, these 3 videos here that I have, my Forsaken, those are the only ones that are implementing this new change, and that will be implemented forever moving forward. However, I'll show you an old game, and you'll see the difference. Yeah, it's dark. Yeah, I don't like that. That's very dark. Yeah, look how dark that is. You know, you can't even see the leaves and the trees. You're losing data everywhere. And so the fidelity of this, her hair just looks all black. You don't see any of the detail in her hair. Over there, that's all black. You should see the outlines of the leaves there. It's just too dark. This isn't the way that it looked when I played the game, and it was very disappointing. So this new technique takes care of that and makes sure that it looks exactly the way it's supposed to look. Very happy about that. Here's another one too. You can still see information on the back of his jacket. Also too, I'm viewing at 480 and the clarity of the video is really, really nice. I'm not looking at this in high definition right now, but the clarity of it is pretty damn good. Also, the video will never buffer, especially at 480. It will not buffer. It's optimized. So I'll keep it there for a minute, and this is, of course, only 480, and I just made it full screen, but you can get an idea as to how well coded the file is, and also the colors. There's no banding. If it were improperly done, you would see banding in the blacks. However, even at 480 quality, which is half of high definition, which is a quarter, yeah, it's really great. So just follow my instructions and go along with that, and your videos will emulate perfectly the way you saw them, and you'll have absolutely no problems moving forward. This is the command. Make sure you zoom in on it, make sure you use it, learn it, love it, and live it. And this is Deep Elements. Thank you so much for joining me, and please click the subscribe button because I really appreciate it. It supports me a great deal, and I'll continue to release awesome videos for you. Thank you so much. Have a great day. God bless.